I thought we could do a makes catch up today. If you're new here, my name is Sarah and I make videos about sewing and personal style. Starting off with the things that I'm currently working on, I have cut out a second Hampton jean jacket, which is a pattern by Alina Design Company. I made my first one back in 2021 and I really love that jacket, but it's in a very light wash. So I've always wanted to make a second jean jacket in a darker wash. And this time around, I did decide to size up a little bit. My first version, I had made a size 2, and it's basically your kind of classic fitted jean jacket. But this one, I wanted to be a little bit more oversized so that I could more easily layer it. So I have the pieces cut out, and I just brought one of them to show you here. And it's out of this really dark wash denim. This was from a mystery bundle that I got from LA Finch Fabrics over their Black Friday sale, I think. And this denim is kind of on the thin side. I would say that it's a non-stretch denim, and it's probably around like maybe a 7 or 8 ounce denim. And the pattern I think recommends 10 ounce. However, I was thinking it might be nice to have a little bit of a lighter weight jacket. And then if I decide to wear something like a sweater underneath, it won't be too overly heavy or hot. So I did have to buy buttons for this project because it does take quite a lot. I think it takes 14 buttons. So I ordered a couple of packs from Wawak. I'm hoping you can see them here, and they're just kind of like an antique brass sort of button. And I also had to order some black interfacing because I was out of that. So now that I have all of my supplies, I'm hoping I can actually get started on sewing this weekend. So that is my current project that I'm working on. My current knitting project is a pair of socks, and I have the first one done here. I had originally started a different pattern and then I just wasn't feeling it, so I ripped it out and started again. This is a burgundy sock yarn that I also bought over Black Friday from Eat Sleep Knit. And I'm not using a pattern here, I'm just doing a cuff down sock with a very simple texture pattern. I did a short row heel, but I did a little mini heel flap and gusset just to make it easier to get it on and off. And then I did a round toe. So the first sock is completely done, and then I'm working on the second, and I have most of the leg done. I'll be pretty close to starting the heel soon. And I'm using size 0 ChowGoo needles, and obviously I'm knitting them one at a time. I have 3 new makes that I haven't shared with you yet, and the first one I don't have to show you because my husband never takes them off. I made another pair of Thread Theory Jutland pants, but I guess you would call it a hack. Several years ago, he brought a pair of ready-to-wear pants to me and asked me if I could make a copy of them. So I took the Jutland pattern and then I made some modifications in order to match his ready-to-wear pants. So it's not exactly the same as the Jutland, but that's the base pattern that I used. And I've used that pattern for him for years. I've made several different pairs of pants out of different fabrics. And so since I don't have a modeled shot to show you, I'll put one in of an earlier pair that I made for him. But I used the corduroy that I got from Fabric Wholesale Direct, and I made him a pair of navy corduroy pants. And my husband is very much like a sustainable wardrobe wearer without even knowing it, I think, because he has very few clothes and he wears them over and over and over again until they literally fall apart. So the other 2 pairs of corduroys that I had made him are definitely on their last leg. So he needed a new pair, and he seems very happy with the ones that I finished. This next finish is not my most successful pair of pants, but they are wearable. This is the Style Arc Como pants. I made these once before, and it was many years ago. I want to say it was in like the early 2010s when I made it the first time around. And this time I used a sweatshirting fabric that I bought from Minerva. And you're probably not going to be able to see it, but it has like a little bit of a lurex thread through it, so it's a little bit of shimmer. And the inside is this fleece backing. Now for these, I made a size 6, and basically the issue is that I used the pattern that I had cut out originally all those years ago. I didn't reprint it and start over. And I really probably should have done that because I've gotten bigger since then, so these pants are pretty snug around the hips. And there's also something really funky with the rise, like it's way too long. The first time I made it, this was definitely when I wasn't sure about pants fitting, so I probably got a few things wrong. But I find that the rise is just so high that I actually have to wear the pants with the waistband folded down, and this is a 2-inch elastic. Oh, and this pattern does come with pockets, but I just left them off because I don't need pockets for lounge pants. So because these were meant to just be a comfy pair of pants that I wear around the house, I don't really mind if they're not the perfect fit. But if I could go back in time, I definitely would have restarted with the fitting, as they really don't look the best, but they are functional and cozy, and in the end, that's what really matters. And then the last new make that I have to share with you is a pattern that I made for the second time. This is the Assembly Line Patterns puff sleeve shirt. Now, quick story time. I no longer have the first version that I made of this in my wardrobe because it literally fell apart. I had gotten it in a needle sharp box, and in the box they included a spool of thread, but the thread was cotton. And I kind of had a little voice in the back of my mind telling me that it was a bad idea to sew with cotton. but because it was a matching thread and it's what they sent in the kit, I just went ahead and used it. Well, fast forward to a couple of years later, and the seams popped in several places. There were all of these little holes on the sleeve where the stitches had popped, and it was basically just falling apart all over the whole shirt. So if I'd wanted to save it, I would have needed to take the whole thing apart and resew it, and I just wasn't going to do that. So I went ahead and recycled that one because it just wasn't fit for anyone to wear anymore. But it was really unfortunate because I did like that top, and so I decided to remake it in this fabric. This is a rayon that I've had in my stash for a few years now. It was originally purchased at Style Maker Fabrics. I'm sure they don't have it anymore. And for this top, I made the extra small, and I did make a few modifications because I remembered from the first time that I wore it that the body was a little bit short. Like I had a hard time getting it to stay tucked in. So I went ahead and lengthened it by 2 inches. And I also lengthened the sleeves a little bit. The first time around, I had shortened the sleeve 3 inches, and that was too much. So this time around, I only shortened the sleeves 1.5 inches, and that's much better. And I also made the elastic in the cuff here a little bit looser because I just found that the first time around I made it way too snug and it was uncomfortable. And the only other change that I made, I think, was that I did top stitch down the facing just so that it wouldn't flop around because that drives me crazy. And I really like the way that this blouse turned out, and I would make it again. I just think it's a really nice, simple looking, but also a little bit elevated top because of these pretty sleeves. And although I don't think this fabric is the best for me, I do really like it, and I'm happy with the way that this came out. I also have a number of repairs and refashions that I did, and I don't have them here to show you, but I'll put in pictures as we go. So the first thing that I did was I took my I Am Rainbow tie-dye dress that I made a few years ago. I just never wore that dress because usually it was something that I would wear with leggings, and I'm just not really gravitating toward that look anymore, so I decided to change the dress into just a regular sweatshirt because I knew I would wear that a lot more. So I just trimmed off the bottom of the dress and used what was the leftover of that fabric to create a band so that I could finish off the sweatshirt. And bonus, I now matched the little hoodie that I made for my dog a couple of years ago. Then the next thing that I did was I repaired a pair of my Fiber Mood Betty jeans. When I originally made them, I had shortened the zipper from the top because it's a metal zipper, and I was too lazy at the time to buy those little zipper stops that you put at the top. And when I was wearing them one day, I went to the bathroom, and when I went to zip up my pants, the zipper pull just came right off the top, which was super annoying and very frustrating. So I put it aside for several months. I did end up ordering a little thing of zipper stops from Amazon, and so I was able to repair the zipper. Real talk here, it does not look nice on the inside. I had to fix it from the bottom, so I had to cut off the bottom of the zipper to put the pull back on. And so long story short, it does not look very nice on the inside, but it is functional now, and that's the important part. So that was the second thing that I did. And then the next thing was that I fixed my Tilly and the Buttons pearl cardigan. I had made this, I think, in 2023 out of this really pretty purple cotton sweater knit, but I had gotten mixed up in the directions, and I switched the ties so that there's a long tie and a short tie, and basically they were on the wrong ends. And so the sweater wouldn't tie properly. And it always drove me crazy, so I never wore it. And I finally got it back out and unpicked the ties and switched them so that they're correct now. So I have that sweater back in my wardrobe, and I did wear it the other day, and I really like it again. So I'm happy that I made that fix. And then the last thing that I did was I cropped a couple of button-up shirts that I had. So one of them was a ready-to-wear shirt that I bought back in 2019. It had this really dramatic high-low hem, which I never liked at the time, but I liked the pattern. So in my head, I was going to always wear it tucked in, but the problem was there was so much fabric on the back of the shirt that it was always like super bunchy when you tucked it in, so I just never wanted to wear it. And then the other one was my Simplicity 2246 dress that I made last year that ended up shrinking in the wash and was too short to wear as a dress. And because I don't like tunic tops, I didn't want to wear it that way, and so I just ended up cutting off both of them about 9 inches below the armhole, and then doing a 1-inch hem. And I'm actually really happy with how they both turned out. I like the cropped look. I think that I'll wear it a lot in the spring and summer. So both of those can now go back into my wardrobe and be on rotation again, so I'm very, very happy that I did that. Now I just want to finish out this video with a few spring plans. I don't quite know what to make of the weather here. When I'm filming this, it's mid-March, and it is actually quite warm, which is very surprising, but I'm not quite ready to believe yet that winter is over. Like, I feel like next week we could get a snowstorm. But at any rate, regardless of what's happening with the weather, mentally with my sewing, I'm completely over winter things. I don't want to make any more woolly, warm garments. So I'm concentrating on things for spring. And I haven't necessarily picked out fabrics yet, but I do have a few patterns that I want to sew. The first one is the True Bias Riley overalls. I made a long pair of these and I absolutely love them and I wear them all the time. and I want to make another version that is the shorts version. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to use like a light to mid-weight denim for that one. The second pattern on my plans list is a pattern that I bought at the very end of 2024. I purchased the Style Arc Clayton shirt. Now, do I need another button-up shirt pattern? No, I do not. I have so many of them. But what I really liked about this shirt is that it had a ton of different options. Like, first of all, there's two different bases for the shirt. There's an oversized shirt and there's a more fitted shirt. And then it has all these different options for sleeves and collar finishes. It even has like a tie neck that you can do. And you can also use a ton of different fabrics. So I just thought that this shirt pattern would be really nice for a variety of fabrics for things like lightweight drapey rayons in a print, like maybe like the bow tie version would be really nice for that. But also like cottons or linens for more of a classic shirt. So I haven't picked fabric and I haven't decided which style I want to make yet, but I do really want to try out that shirt pattern. And then the last thing on my plans list is a brand new thing that I just bought. Helen's Closet just came out with the falconer pants and I bought it on launch day. I just really, really like the shape of it and that there's two different options. There's a wide leg view and a barrel leg view, and they both look really nice. I could see myself making both versions. And I just really like that it has a side panel with the pocket built in. It's a little bit of a different style line. It's a bit unique to all of the other patterns that I already have. So the version that I think I want to make for spring is I want to use my white heavyweight linen that I bought from the fabric store a couple of years ago, and I've been hoarding it. It's kind of unique because it actually is a thick linen that's not see-through, which is a really hard to find thing when you want to make white pants, because I would really prefer not to have to line a summer weight pant. So I think I want to make the barrel leg version in those pants, but I might change my mind and go for the wide leg. I am definitely going to do a trial pair first. I'm not going to cut into my linen right away because I want to make sure that I get a really good fit. But I'm very excited about that pattern. And I'm thinking that once I finish sewing my jean jacket, that will probably be the next one up on my cutting table. So I hope that everything is going well for you guys. Let me know in the comments what you are excited to sew for the spring season. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your support.